Fetch.ai is a Cambridge-based artificial intelligence lab, and it is building an open source network to enable autonomous software agents to perform useful economic work on behalf of individuals and businesses and organizations. So Humayun Sheikh is with me, the founder and CEO of Fetch.ai, and great to see you again. Always hearing about what you're doing because it sounds like cutting edge of the future. So if you could give me an update, what's the latest with Fetch.ai?
The latest is that we are starting to open up now trials. We are actually putting out the technology in the real world, and we're trying to start doing trials in different verticals, mobility. We're looking at smart infrastructure. We're looking at connecting different components of, for example, ride-hailing and supply chain. So we're deploying these solutions now. So we are coming to a point where we're bringing the technology from the lab out onto the real world.
Okay. And I remember the last time we talked, you were talking about parking in particular and how you were using data and artificial intelligence to help people find parking places, to help cities maximize spaces. And I mean, it was really fascinating. It was a much more efficient use of that than what we're currently seeing.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, based on our last video, we got a lot of interest from people who were trying to understand really what is it that, and how is it different to the world that is today. So what I'd like to do is take a little bit of time to just lay out the architecture for you so that people can understand more how our technology actually enables. It's an enabler. It's an enabling technology which can enable you to bring agent-based systems into the world, and you can deploy it without actually trying to build the architecture, the infrastructure of it. It's like saying, well, how do you deploy a website without having internet? So, you know, it's the kind of the internet bit, which is what we're trying to build for multi-agent systems. So if you think about, you want to give autonomy to different devices so they can actually feed you data, they can actually transact with you, they can connect to you. That's all great, but how do you do it? Where do you to connect them together? And the problem is that that doesn't exist, and because it doesn't exist, you know, somebody has to build it, and Fetch is building that. So what that enables you to do is to deploy different use cases, different businesses, different commercial applications in a completely different way, which is more based on the agents. And what that does is it improves the efficiency because you're not reliant on these monolithic solutions. What you're doing is you're actually granularizing completely the service, the data, the connectivity. And what that does is it enables you to connect many to many. And that's really what the whole thing is about.
So we talked about parking, but you're also doing some work with hotels or hospitality industry. How does that work?
Yes, it's very much, you have to look at it. What is it that the architecture brings, and then you'll see there's many use cases for this technology. So if you look at parking, what we do in parking is you have a parking spot. The parking spot connects with your car and actually gives you a rate, and you negotiate. You book the parking spot. You take the intermediary from out from the middle, and by intermediary I don't mean just the business, I mean the technology, which is, you know, there's this monolithic technology sitting in the middle, you know, which kind of finds all these things and connects you with all these things. What we're doing is we're saying, okay, you could give autonomy to both sides. So in case of hospitality, for example, if you have hotels who have agents who can actually book and advertise themselves, the consumer can actually connect with them using their agents. You don't need a middle aggregator, somebody in the middle to actually make that connection. The problem is you can't do that unless you're able to find each other. And so, you know, it's like you need that kind of Google type of thing if you want to find websites.
Yeah.
So we're kind of doing the role of like a Google in the middle to connect the agents together.
Okay, very interesting. And then, so what other applications, or how are you bringing this to market? I know you're testing it, but then what is after that?
Yeah, so the core problems we want to solve is smart infrastructure, because smart infrastructure involves quite a wide range of applications. So with smart infrastructure, you can communicate with the roads, so which can help the autonomous driving.
Okay. And then the collective learning product, what is that?
So if you think about agents doing transactions together, and if you think about um, you know, let's take an example. For example, on the parking side as well, you have multiple parking places, and they are all communicating with each other, and they're building these trends, and these trends are currently residing with the business who owns the parking. But what you are now enabling them to do is you're enabling different parking places to actually build a machine learning model between themselves, so they can make much better predictions for the agent. So because the agent needs to have intelligence, they need to have knowledge, they need to have predictions. And the models which exist, the collective, the machine learning models which exist, they are very based on, again, a monolithic kind of business approach or a technology approach. You can't actually, just use a machine learning model to provide to the agents and actually get a response from the agents. You need to build those models on in a collective manner, so the participants of, or the stakeholders in this whole ecosystem, can actually build a model, and the agents can actually use the model to do transactions more efficiently and more intelligently.
Okay, very always interesting when we talk, Humayun. It's great to get an update. So look forward to the next one.